Freedom Convoy. I have to bring this back again. Gotta bring it back. Got to bring it back. They are going through a lot of issues up there in Canada. But there's a freedom convoy beginning in the United States, I heard. Going to be probably in Washington, D.C. at the State of the Union, which is March 1st. It should be called the State of the Disunion because it's just really not a union right now. And so that's on the plate. We saw that there was a convoy in Israel coming from Tel Aviv on the highway there. So this thing is going across the world. People speaking up, people standing up for the freedoms, for the rights that they have in their particular countries, and we are appreciative of people like that, a remnant that are standing up. It was interesting. I heard something in Canada, and because I was monitoring some of the Canadian news sites, and one person, a business owner, because they're I think
Ottawa.
are they in Ottawa?
Ottawa, yeah, Ottawa.
And thousands of trucks in Ottawa can create some inconveniences, and the horns blowing and all that kind of stuff. But I heard this one business owner say, and I was so disappointed. She was saying that she's at the end of her rope at this point. She's gonna probably have to just close down and just wait this thing out. It's been 3 weeks now, and they're creating a lot of people that are not coming. The traffic that normally comes there, the locals are staying away from the area and all that kind of stuff. And so she was very much anti freedom convoy, and I just thought of something. I thought of Seattle. I thought of Portland. I thought of Atlanta. I thought of Dallas. I thought of Boston. I thought of New York. All these places, and many, many, many more. LA, and all these different places for the last couple of years, and especially last summer, but even up until now, of these riots that took place, and the breaking up of the of storefronts, and the looting that took place, and the terrorism that really kind of took place in this kind of a situation. But yet I didn't hear any peeps at that point. Maybe I wasn't listening, but I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. But was there anybody in Canada, business owners, standing up for the business owners in Portland and Seattle and LA and Boston and Atlanta and all these other, Chicago and all these different places? I don't think so. There is no violence going on. There is no violence going on. That obviously there's skirmishes. You get that many people together, there's going to be skirmishes. There's going to be things that are happening. But as in a holistic sense, it is very peaceful. All the videos that I've been watching, all the things that I've been seeing, I've been trying to look from both sides just to see, because there have been some pretty big accusations against that. I want to play a let me see if I can do this. I want to play a video.
Mr. Speaker, Conservative Party members can stand with people who wave swastikas. They can stand with people who wave the Confederate flag. We will choose to stand with Canadians who deserve to be able to get to their jobs, who be able to get their lives back. These illegal protests need to stop, and they will, Mr. Speaker.
I just want to remind the honourable members, including the Right Honourable Prime Minister, to use words that are not inflammatory in the House, and that's for both sides. The Honourable Member for Thornhill.
Unbecoming as a Prime Minister. It's been 48 hours that the government went from doing nothing to a national emergency. 48 hours into using the measures, 48 hours without providing Parliament with a justification. So my question is simple. When will the Prime Minister admit that he's lost control of the situation, that he's lost control of his country, that he's lost control of his caucus, and that he's lost control of his leadership?
Right, Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, on the question of caucus and support for these blockades, the Conservative politicians need to make a choice. Are they for the blockades, or are they for communities, our economy, and regular Canadians? The member from Provencher pointed out about the emergency blockade, the illegal blockades. He has never seen such a patriotic display in Canada. There's nothing patriotic about hurting fellow Canadians. The member from Grand Prairie Mackenzie claims that the economy is not being held hostage. All the while, hundreds of millions of dollars were being lost in trade due to blockades. And the member from Sarnia-Lambton doesn't believe her constituents need guaranteed access now to the Blue Water Bridge. Mr. Speaker, we stand with Canadians.
The honourable member for Regina Capel.
Mr. Speaker, in 2020, when anti-energy protesters were blocking vital transportation, ships were backed up in ports and trains were stopped. The Prime Minister didn't stop them. In fact, he actually sent a government delegation to meet with them. But now that the protests are about something that he disagrees with, he uses inflammatory language, hurls personal attacks, and makes a massive power grab. We know the PM finds democracy inconvenient and that he admires China's dictatorship. So will the Prime Minister admit that this is all just a move to crack down on dissent?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I would advise the honourable member to be careful in that line of questioning before people actually look into what he and his fellow Conservative Party members said.
Dictator.
I want to remind the honourable members that shouting names at each other is not the way this place works. No. Before you start clapping, start looking at your own benches.
What was I saying? So you had Trudeau saying about the Conservatives waving swastikas and not waving swastikas, supporting people who are waving swastikas. And remember that for a second. And the Union Jack, the Confederate flag. Interesting. I researched a lot of different places trying to find. Now this is liberal Google and any kind of search engine, Yahoo, whatever search engine you use. Typically, Bing, typically liberal. So if this was in fact a huge story of swastikas and the Confederate flag, wouldn't you think you'd see them like everywhere? Wouldn't you see everybody zoning in on that and showing among these crowds these hundreds and thousands of people with swastikas and Confederate flags? Because MSNBC, CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, PBS, all these sites touted. I mean, their talking heads were talking about that. Even The View, the women on The View were talking about these, supporting, the white supremacy with swastikas and Union Jacks and all that kind of stuff. I found one picture of a Union Jack flag. One. I mean, there might be others, but I found one. In the swastikas area, I found two. There was a group of people, around a dozen or so people on Parliament Hill gathering together with swastika, and then there was one single one in the crowd. I even heard though that the people in the crowd tossed these people out and were against them. That's what I heard. I didn't find that, but that's what I heard a couple of weeks ago when they were talking about these swastika things. So you think that would be a big story at that point. Couldn't find it. So my opinion, fake news once again. But listen to this, but now here comes Melissa in a moment. Listen to this.
The honourable member for Thornhill.
Mr. Speaker, I am a strong Jewish woman and a member of this House and a descendant of Holocaust survivors, and I have never it's never been singled out, and I have never been made to feel less, except for today when the Prime Minister accused me of standing with swastikas. I think he owes me an apology. I'd like an apology, and I think he owes an apology to all members of this House.
That was, I mean, you see that, and then this one, and Marilyn mentioned it, that Trudeau actually left the building before the end of the question answer period, which is really unheard of. But that's like the second or third time he's done that in the last week or two. So let me just play one more, and this is Melissa responding to him about the swastikas issue. So let me just share that, because this is freedom. This is what we need. We need to protect freedom in this country, in Canada. But what we're seeing again is we're seeing the listen to this for a second. I just want to, I just was thinking about the Canadian national anthem. Beautiful song. Not going to sing it, but I'm going to read just a couple of the words for you. The first first stanza. It says, "O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, thou dost in us command. We see this thing rising, dear land, the true north, strong and free. And stand on guard, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee." We need to stand on guard. Canada, you need to stand on guard. The plot of this kind of the left, we'll just call it the left, is they accuse us of exactly what they're doing. Think about, and I don't even like to use Nazism in a sense, but when the Nazis rose from power, they didn't just take over everything. They slowly shut down opposition. They slowly took away the rights of the freedoms of the people, and to speak, to press, to protest, to peacefully assemble. I mean, that's in the United States Constitution. It's a right for us to peacefully assemble, to redress the government, to bring up our issues and our situations. We see things starting to change slightly, and I believe it's a lot to do with our brothers and sisters in Canada doing that convoy, a freedom convoy, and now it's starting to come through the states and coming through the world with because Hasatan uses a drip. You ever see a drip on a rock? And we have beautiful places here in Massachusetts and New Hampshire and in Maine, especially in New Hampshire. Well, all of it, but in New Hampshire, there's the what do you call those mountains? The White Mountains, and where the old man in the mountain was, who since fell down, unfortunately. But there are glaciers through there. There are places where water is running in between the rock. That was solid rock at one point. And because of that constant drip and constant water running, the the rock was cut. But it was cut over a period of time. It didn't take a week. It didn't take a month. It took, thousands and thousands of years in order for that to happen. And that's what the ploy of the enemy is. They're trying to take away a little bit at a time. And what did Hitler and Nazi Germany do? They used a crisis to take power, to have that power grab. This is all a power play by all these different governments to keep in power, to have their voices be the voice of the people, but not as servants to the people, but as dictators, and saying, this is the best way for you. You're gonna love this, my way. I don't want to hear your opinions. You got to be shut up. Your stuff is illegal. It's against our own constitutions, they think, against what we believe. One great thing, one great example of this was not too long ago, sometime last year. I can't remember when it was, when Biden was addressing the Congress. It might have been in this state of not the State of the Union, but whatever they do, the inaugural, not the inaugural, but usually the first speech they give. It's not in a State of the Union because he hasn't been in there a full year.
But he gave a speech.
And it's funny though. You should look it up. And I have a clip of it, but I don't want to play it right now. But one thing that he said right in the beginning, he said, we talk about in the Constitution, we the people, and he says, and that may even sound trivial today. I'm like that caught my attention. I'm like, we the people, the preamble of the Constitution of the United States, we the people, is trivial. All right, enough of that one. But then he went on and basically he said, we the people is the government. Really? Do you not know history, Mr. Biden? Do you not understand anything about political science, anything about the roots of America? That the people rose up and pulled their bonds against, separated from England, from Great Britain, because of far less things that are going on today. But we the people is not the government. We the people is the people of the United States. And you can say that about any country you're in Canada, and in any place you are. We, the politicians are in office because we the people put them in there. And if they're doing illegal things and bad things, we the people should take them out, vote them out of office, and put in people, and have a convention of the states, because that's one way of doing it, amendments. If the United States Congress, the Senate and the Congress, will not do what is right for the people, the states can get together in a convention and create amendments of term limits, of a balanced budget amendment, all these different things that they are not willing to do, because all they do is go for the next election. They are in there from day one. They're plotting and raising money and all this kind of stuff. Why? To stay in their little power camp. And that's what it's all about. And that's what the 2020 election was all about. There's a big giant power grab, trying to usurp the authority which is in we the people, not we the government.